yeah, it looked real. Wow. Okay, and yeah, it looked as a really really cool event, and it's a bit shame that we were not able to take part in person there, but we were heavy grinding some of updates what we're doing right now, and we'll love to share a bit as we go. So I already see some questions starting to pour in. Uh, okay. So yeah, let's maybe start with the state of lands. So for the lands, we've been uh, right now working on a community token marketplace. Like most of the lands are ready. Um, there are still like some missing pieces, but that's basically what our team is constantly working on, and just adding more and more missing props. So when we release the lands, we can like quickly spin up all the different like combinations, etc. Um, we currently have scheduled the land release right after we enter the beta, which okay, I guess I have to give you some dates. We don't want to like tease too much about this, but we're really pushing by end of the March for something big. And until then, you will see maybe few updates, mostly like fixes or some balance updates coming into Zevers. But this is going to be our biggest update so far. Like literally, it's going to be almost like a new game. Um, and yeah, it's pretty exciting. So we are spending our days uh, testing this. Jael, you have to say when starting to say too much. Like I really don't want to tease what we are exactly doing, because that will ruin surprise. But it's finally happening, and we are preparing for the beta. And this,
I guess let's talk about beta, but not about maybe the step by step of how we get there. Uh, you know.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that makes sense. So yeah, maybe we can share a bit about the beta. So with the beta, we have uh, this probably 50 times bigger map, which is going to be like the first part, like first release of the beta. And obviously, as the time goes, we'll keep expanding the map. And we are also working on four missing skills in the meantime. So we are refining soul crafting, shamanism, crafting, and mining skills. So it's quite interesting, because when we will add these skills, it's going to be like this aha moment where all of like things start to really make sense. I mean, right now when you're doing like woodcutting skill, the only utility for the logs is to burn them, which I mean is is meaningful process because you earn experience points for that. But I mean, uh, with the crafting skill coming out, it will add so much more utilities to woodcutting. So like these wooden logs will become materials, like ingredients for the crafting recipes. And later on, that combines with a mining skill where you're like mining ores and smelting them into bars, and then using those bars to making armors. So yeah, we've been really pushing so that when we drop the update, we can release all these four new skills at the same time. And this kind of starts to bring some ideas around play to airdrop campaign. So essentially, we are planning to launch a play to airdrop campaign shortly after we release the beta. And like, I would love to hear your feedback on this, but I was thinking, like, Zverse naturally has one of the most organic progression system, because whenever you train something or whenever you perform an action, you receive experience points. Either it's for your Z's or for the skills. But one of the things we have on mind is that your levels, your skill levels, your Z levels would be considered as part of play to airdrop campaign, because for new players it naturally becomes easy to see and track their progress. But at the same time, for our existing player base or existing community, it it kind of rewards them for the work players have put in from the beginning. Obviously, there will be many more things besides just looking at the skill levels, but I think this is going to be one of the cornerstones for that. Yeah, Jael, maybe is there something else you want to add? Or we also start to see a bunch of questions.
Yeah, and I don't wanna interrupt. There's a lot of good questions, but well, keep going. I'm kind of like making mental note of them all, so I'll jump in afterwards and rapid fire all of these as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just like go in a mono by dropping all the info, but it's essentially there are a few things we've been like thinking and working on. I think maybe next week or sometime after that we'll probably start the tease around the beta. I mean, that world is so like immersive. It feels like completely different game, and it's kind of like finally feeling free to explore, and um, so many things just start to make so much sense now. But I have to move away from this because I don't want to share too much yet. So I see few questions already. Are you already working on a quest plot for upcoming airdrop campaign? Okay. Okay, yeah. So like I said previously, for the play to airdrop campaign, it's going to be a balance between rewarding our existing player base who have invested enormous time into training skills, training their Z's. We see that we want to reward it, but at the same time, we need to make it accessible for new players. So when we will go out with this, we are thinking it will definitely be like a mix where skills and your Z's will play a role in that, and and obviously for some new players, it won't be that easy to catch like level 99. It's just that it takes a lot of time, but at the same time, it will feel organic for that progress, and start like some points later. On the other hand, we are obviously thinking of having like a special quest, some tasks will which will you explore the world and learn more about the universe, and generally uh, complete the quest in order to rank up and earn some allocations. So it's going to be like a mix of these things, and we're just, like thinking of how to make these quests uh, uh, memorable, memorable experiences. I think that's kind of one of the things we usually try to do. I mean, if you've been in any of our previous events, Uh, it's always about like creating this surprise moment, creating this kind of experience besides just like technically complete a thing. So, so yeah, we'll definitely try to create experiences what people will remember, and at the same time, these tasks will be quite friendly for new players, and in the meantime, interesting for existing ones. So yeah.
So there was a good question that also kind of talks, I think an important question when talking about that Zever's bet is what happens with the soul shard.
Oh yeah. So the soul shard, when releasing back, we will change the way how soul shards are working, and obviously the Genesis soul shard, you're forever set, you're good. For the seasonal soul shards, they will become, I would say, like an artifact from the past. One thing we will do for sure is we will add grace periods for every seasonal soul shard. So even when we will change to the new system of like a monthly membership type of model, um, all the existing seasonal soul shards will receive pre grace periods, which means you won't have to worry about the new soul shard for a good few months. That's for sure. So it's new model will make it more will make more accessible for like any player. In right now, soul shard is almost 24 E, which is a lot of money, and sometimes that's quite a bit of barrier for new people willing to try like soul shard experience for the first time. And in order to make it more accessible, we will offer like a monthly subscription type membership where players will be able to purchase this membership for roughly $10-12. We're looking in that range, and this will for sure complement our mobile strategy, because we're also looking to go live on app stores. I mean, right now the Zverse is on iPhone and Android phones, but it's kind of in this test flight environment. So we will push that forward, and we will start to release Zverse publicly on the App Store. And when like a new players without like any prior knowledge about how Web3 or crypto works, when they will discover the Zverse, it will be way easier for them to kickstart their journey if the soul shard is relatively inexpensive. And yeah, so that's that. Also, what we've seen with the current soul shard design, as one of the main problems, is that people who didn't like minted it early on are really hesitant because there's always like this fear that tomorrow the season ends and I just bought and wasted my money on buying like a seasonal soul shard. And what we realized is that no matter what we do, this will always be a problem because the longer the season, people just look and think, oh, it's probably not a good time to like purchase soul shard, and it kind of creates this weird situation where it's nice at the beginning of the season, but as we go, it just becomes harder and harder to make the decision for the players. So yeah, we'll change that, and we'll make it much simpler. So you will be just minting like a monthly soul shard. You mint it, works for 30 days. You have all the access, and we'll be like obviously we'll be doubling down, and we'll push new features and new content as we go for the Soul Shard owners. And I think when we think about like the fundamental design and concept around Soul Shards is that uh, Zverse is accessible to everyone for free. You will be able to spend like a significant time playing for free, like literally no need for Soul Shard. But as we add more and more content, lots of that content will start to be gated. Uh, yeah, lots of content will be gated behind the Soul Shard. So that means we have a bit better protection out like people willing to exploit, because if you're like running a bot farm, then you need like Soul Shards for all your bot farm, which could make it uh, not very capital efficient. But yeah, so as we go with the Soul Shards, we will be really pushing towards way more new stuff, and just keep adding to the value of them.
So there's a couple of questions I wrote down regarding this. So taking a small little break, but we'll come back to the Soul Shard test flight. Coming out with the test flight, what does it mean? On how does it impact update speed? For example, now we roll out the updates, and then uh, uh, we're live in an hour or so. Does that impact the update
Uh,
speed or the
yeah,
update size?
for sure, but at the same time, we're also capped at different platform like approval speeds. So uh, right now, we can update and deliver to like a new version through test flight in a matter of like minutes. But we still need to wait when we get Google version approved. We still need to wait when Epic Store approves the version. So it won't change that much, but at the same time, it will become way easier for people like to discover and find Zevers, because you'll be able to just like type in like App Store without downloading a test flight app to install and play Zevers. So it for sure will dramatically improve the performance. For us, it means we will have to be, we'll just have to schedule these updates in advance. And yeah, so I don't see like any crazy complications of coming out of this, because like that's normal experience in app stores, and it has been like that since day one. um so yeah,
Cool.
I think
Um, uh, all right. So coming back to the battle pass and the soul shards, the keyword here is is battle pass. What are our plans regarding living up to the name? Now switching to the monthly subscription model. Uh, are we also looking at some reward systems regarding that?
honestly I don't know, because whenever we look on things such as like battle pass, I think that could make sense at some point. But what we are like really passionate about right now is player driven economy. And whenever we add something directly as a reward, we kind of take something away from the players. And especially when we will launch the beta, we are really keen to see how players are producing their stuff, how they're like trading, and generally just like evolving inside the game. Uh, so like making some artificial rewards on top of Soul Shard. Maybe someday. I don't think so. I don't think we'll do that at the beginning. So yeah, I hope That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And one more question regarding the bad. Is how does it impact the web version of the Zverse?
So web version of Zverse still stands, and it will be supported, I think, for some significant time. Maybe we even end up solving like all the technical challenges around this. I mean, we're in Web3 space, and like by default, people don't like download stuff from internet. So we see currently roughly 30% of our player base exclusively using browser version. So we respect that, and for some foreseeable future, we definitely will try to support this and we'll keep supporting live. As we go further down the roadmap, somewhere in the future, I think we may see the shift from that as the game could become more and more demanding. So we'll naturally ask you to download like the client instead of going through like a web browser experience. And generally, like I see like people like to use it from the web browser. Honestly, I'm using it. I'm playing quite often from the browser as well, but like having Google Chrome running, having like a Google Chrome running your game is one of the worst things you can kind of think of doing. I mean, it's like a virtual machine which isn't capable of capitalizing on your like PC resources. So it just naturally isn't made to run games. So playing Zverse on like client is way smoother experience. It's way easier on your computer, and generally less problems, less crashes. But yeah, I mean, as we go, we'll probably get there. But for some good time, we'll keep support for the web version.
All right. So if you guys have any questions regarding this, shoot them ahead. But if not, I think we can move further. I think we still have quite a bit of ground to cover. So do you, Euler, want to talk more about some other community questions? Can I squeeze in with some of my answers, or would you like to go further?
We can just go
All right.
freestyle.
So a little interlude, Jackal's time. I'm just gonna, quickly touch upon a couple of questions you asked during this community call, and shoot us more, and then we'll move forward, talk and reiterate about some previously covered things in previously covered community calls and the progress on them. All right. So will there be new equipment in Umber Dungeons? No. Gidra asked a question about the Fox Blossom set, whether it turned out to be nothing in relation to others, especially when they gave the Legendary Shield the ability to not miss. This is a good question, and I did expect it. Fox Blossom set is actually really potent in the correct, let's say, hands. So initially it had no percent. Initially the design proposed a no percent chance. Essentially, if your Z dodges an attack, you get a refresh. But then we realized it's a mythic rarity of equipment set bonus when used when used with crunches or zumbas, because it would mean your all of your abilities are permanently up, which is obviously incredibly broken. And yeah, you would guys come with stakes and fires to us after that. 20%, it's a good number and introduces a good balance. So just to give you guys some tips, obviously crunch always dodges when it's submerged. Even because we adjusted Shield of Souls to also respect these things as blind and submerged, so they dodge. And Zoom was blind, or Geist blind, also allows your Z's to dodge abilities and refresh it. Yeah, so from that angle, no, we actually do believe that the Fox Blossom set equipment bonus is pretty good and pretty solid. But again, we are looking always at the player's experience and performance. Currently, there's no changes planned at all. Well, at least while we still monitor it. But yeah, so then there was a question about new Discord, the voxel store items, and I know we talked about it briefly before. I do. I would like to, ask this question to you, Euler. When you lose.
Good question. So generally, like so, it's kind of like leaning between like um, two ideas which define Zevers. So on one hand, we want to make it fully player, like the economy should be fully player driven, and because we, when we started, we didn't had all these skills, but nevertheless, we needed some of these items in place. We introduced the concept of loot pod. I think loot pod generally is really cool way to test your RNG and pretty fun experience. But one thing we're thinking is to end up like for Hearts loot pod will cancel for sure. So all this stuff, all Hearts collection will become like the total supply will become fixed. So all of like the items we see right now will just yeah stay as they are, and from that point we want like players to be able to craft their own tools, their own armors, their own everything, and I think that's one of the most exciting ideas where which makes MMOs. I mean, and this is definitely also a thing where blockchain is solving a problem, and where like having the blockchain rails uh, makes the game more complete, right? On the other hand, we will be dealing with Web2 audiences, and we are thinking of ways how we could naturally use in-app purchase systems, so we can use them. Basically, we're thinking of a way how regular players could be able to use their credit cards through the phone to purchase something, which then they can get and sell into like a game exchange, or just directly purchase the B token. So one thing we're seeing here is that it kind of completely removes the friction for the new players to set up a wallet and find the V token on exchange and purchase it and then deposit it in the game. Uh, Ideally, it would work in a way where a player can just use their credit card, they purchase a V token, and then we later use that revenue and just buy back the token from the open market. So whenever like people are putting in money, we end up generating like a lot of demand for the token. Uh, like one thing we're still trying to figure out is how the process should work, and there is a slight chance we could have like one or two types of like loot boxes, way different from what we have right now as harvest ones. It would more act it would like more act like a starter kit type of thing. But yeah, I want to leave loot boxes for some really special occasions, and kind of end up completely removing them from regular experience. So everything what you do and make is made by someone else, or yeah, by any player. So that's just something we have on the mind.
So there was already super early on a question about the mask rework and redesign. Maybe we can
Okay.
talk about that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So how is it going, and do we have any timelines available?
Yeah. So the mask majority of the redesign is already completed. Like we already shared some work in progress, and I mean, the thing we realized was that every mask is somewhat similar, and it's really hard for people like to distinguish each of like the masks and the traits. So for sure we wanted to make it to stand out more, and we felt that like masks came from super early days, and we were like building them, we really didn't approach them as a PFPs, and that's something we want to change a bit. But at the same time, it's not going to be just like a like a graphic update. The thing we want to do with this and achieve is introduce like a new collector's profile. So it would be completely like a new interface, which gives you idea of what kind of like mask rarities you have, and it will motivate people to collect and explore like different combinations with the masks. As for like the new members entering like Zever's ecosystem, it will be really straightforward path from registering inside the game, starting to play the game, purchasing your first soul shard, then seeing my next step is to go and find the mask. So because the way we have built everything is that we have like a core community at the center, and then we have Zever's game itself, and on top of we have like user acquisition channels. So we channel in users inside the game. People fall in love with the game, they end up joining like Discord, and uh, from there they start to explore that there is way more. That there is like uh, much more than the game itself. So we naturally onboard people into the core of the community, and I think lands will play also pretty big role in that, because uh, that's like the base for guilds to form, and these guilds will be responsible for educating new players and kind of, I mean, giving them some guidance. But yeah, timeline wise, we want to plan the release of the masks roughly together with the Europe campaign, as we are like starting to eye towards the TG, and we thought that it will make so much more sense if we do it this way, um, where we can deliver a lot of stuff relatively short time and cover all for key stakeholder groups. So when we start like Ledger campaign, we release the game for wider public. At the same time, we also launched the collector profile, so all of the existing mask holders now see their ranks, and that will also play a role into airdrop allocation. And the same collector profile will also be taking in the lands as well. So there'll be interesting ways, interesting combos. For example, if you have like one mask, one land, you receive like a special trophy because of that. If you have like let's say one mask of each type, again, that's like a combination, and we want to reward these things. So yeah, so it will be pretty fun.
Very cool. On topic of masks, I just took a snapshot of all community members here. You guys are quite a bit here. I will not be probably able to type everybody's names in. No, during this time, but I'll share the rough link so everybody can afterwards check what everybody was mentioned from the snapshot. I'll add the screenshot as well of the people. And yeah, just wanted to squeeze that in.
It's kind of like after this action, it's been taken like the floor dumps. People leave the room.
Well, you never know. Maybe I'll need to take another snapshot. Then. I'll tell you guys. You don't know when the snapshot will be taken. So yes.
Yeah, we are seeing some about news. These we obviously we have like way more these on the roadmap on the plan. As of now, we are really focused towards releasing the beta. I think once we have that, it's really strong ground to just start make more and more new content, including like new Z's, new items for the skills, new utilities for the skills, like quests. It's kind of like, oh my god, it's content wise, we are probably below 5% of what we will have, and that may even be a big number. I think content wise will grow like crazy once we finally have like the last 4 missing skills, the better world, and then we can just literally make game more fun every single week by adding more cool stuff to do. Yeah. As for now, we don't have new Z's on the roadmap, at least for next month or two. So we do have like some sketches. We do have potential candidates. We definitely want to introduce more variety, and also we want to introduce more Z's, which could be obtainable through like some dungeon rewards or through the eggs. So yeah, like this guy.
I just realized I don't think we've ever teased. I don't think so because we have all of these. The two very popular emojis, right? And yeah, they come from Z's, and there's a good backlog. As Euler mentioned, there's a good backlog of Z's created, but yeah, can't wait for them to come out.
Yeah. Speaking about emojis, we still have like the emoji update on our roadmap. The way we want to do this is like the emotes you receive inside the game are like NFTs. We want to introduce new emojis also like as an NFTs. So you will be able to like collect them as a form of reward, or it's going to be a really great tool for a bunch of different collabs. And yeah, you'll be able to use them if you have them in your wallet, which is yeah, I mean, it just makes so much sense, and it will give people way more, like many more ways to express themselves. So, when more marketing moves for new players drops in. So our plan around this is, like I said, first we want to release the beta. It's actually coming out really soon, um, and it's something we've worked on for a lot of time. But the point of the beta is, at this point, we will have really good onboarding experience. Like, I mean, the onboarding experience what we have right now in existing Zevers is like, it's so bad. I don't think we could make it even worse if we tried. And the reason behind that is, it's 2 years old, and there is so many new things what has come in place. And I mean, we are constantly just adding new stuff, so we can't every time update the onboarding experience. So with a beta, we'll have like really proper tutorial, really proper, like really good intro inside the game and into everything. So by having that, we also open up Zverse to the new players, and we are like really data driven. So we want to first of all see the data. We want to see how many people are able to complete the tutorial. Is there like anything where they end up being stuck, etc. And for that, we will start to run some user acquisition campaigns as well. So we'll be able to reliably channel in new players every single day. Our vision and end goal for that is to scale it, to scale these channels when we see that numbers really make sense. And I mean, the market and the amount of players we can get through these channels is just like enormous. I mean, when we are looking on the current crypto games in like Web3 space, we sometimes see, oh, like there is 100,000 DAU, right? 90% of that is probably bot farms, or like literally just people farming stuff. But when we compare even these numbers to what we see in Web2 mobile space, like it's not uncommon for games to get 100 to 200,000 new players every single day just by running really big UA campaigns. So, like theoretically, there is almost no ceiling of how many new players we could potentially acquire this way. But for us to be able to do so, we really need to nail down the onboarding. There needs to be some monetization so we can recycle the revenues back inside the campaigns. And at the end of the day, like these are the players, these are the masses of the players who are playing, will be playing on your lands, because like when you have few thousand daily active users, it's just not enough resources. Even on like the beta world, it will be enough resources for everybody. So naturally, this generates demand for the lands, and players will be looking to join guilds. Players will be looking to play on these lands. They will be purchasing the community tokens in order to access them. And at the same time, they will be generating demand for in-game economy as they like naturally want to progress, and that will reflect on the items collections what we have right now. It will reflect on the Z's, and I think most importantly, it will reflect on the token, because like we've seen one of the most successful launches from the last year is a project called Hyperliquid. And the way they did their tokenomics was they are doing buybacks from their revenue they generate on the platform, which is really strong signal for the token, for the token performance. And yeah, we generally plan to do the same, where we can get in people from the user acquisition channels. They may end up spending fiat, and we collect that fiat and we use it to buy back the token from the market, because at the end of the day we are selling the token, so we will be just like in between that. So yeah, that's kind of the plan around the marketing and new players. I mean, this is it's going to be pretty interesting and challenging as well, because now you will start to see some people coming in Discord and they have no clue what Web3 or crypto is, and you have to tell them that it's a game first, and then we'll have to get them into crypto thing. But anyways, it's a crazy opportunity, and we've done, like, we scaled one of our previous titles in the past. I think at the peak we had roughly 3 million players in that game. We acquired them, most of them through we acquired them mostly through like Facebook and Google platforms. Yeah, I mean, in Web2 mobile gaming business, numbers are even crazier than in crypto, and like there are studios which are literally spending $2-3 million a day in acquiring users, and it just kind of gives you an idea that there is no limit at all. So yeah. Anyways, besides that, bunch of other stuff. We're looking into partnerships. Lands are amazing opportunity for that. We've been like chatting with some bigger brands, some bigger names. There will be some lands which will be specifically designed for certain partners, and we'll use them as a way to like build awareness around the brand and around Zevers. So we've been chatting pretty much with every major brand and ecosystem inside of Web3. So one way how we can leverage that on the islands is by supporting multiple chains. So that's going to be a really strong angle for the partnerships. And at the same time, we really want to build like some cool, dope stuff. So I won't mention any like blue chip brands, but we've been like going back and forth with that, and I think at some point we'll be able to uh, yeah, do something really cool. So Jackal, it seems you have fans.
Yay! Thank you, guys. Wait. There was. So there's a couple more questions. I think because we're running out of time already, so I kind of want to rapid fire you through a couple more questions. And this is a question from Guangguan, but it also double backs as an incredibly cool suggestion regarding the party island drop parties. How will they also work the same way on your own private land, and will you be able to host them there? And yeah, question for you.
Short answer: yes. That's
Cool.
one of the super cool things we want you to do is organize these parties, let in people who you want. Don't let anyone else. I mean, you can make like drop parties specifically for your own tribe. So yes, we'll have that.
And I really like the further that came kind of as a suggestion, the punishing features, and as I imagine it's upon picking up a box, that for example you add like a stun or a blind to the user that and while I think it would be too depressing in general chat if we apply that in the official party and drop parties. I do think that's such a cool way and cool tool for landowners to be able to use. I love that idea, and
I mean, there are some boxes which gives you V token, and then there are some boxes which takes away V token. So.
Oh yeah. So Tyler also quickly summarize all of his questions. This is a rapid fire from me. Axe rarities comes with crafting. Why all the logs have the same burn time of 60 seconds? Great point. That's a good question that I also did ask to our game design. Currently, initially, we released the fire making, as a base version. I do believe it's also coming. The wood rarity should change the time the campfire burns. You're absolutely right. That's the logical solution. So I do believe it is coming, though. And I regarding the tombs, I have brought it up to NumWiki. Also, feel free to tag him 3,000 times. Yeah, if you have feedback regarding various game design features, please don't tag him 3,000 times. And I do think Tombs, Janka, and couple more Z's are due for review. Same with I think Treasure Staff is getting some love. Yeah. And this is a question for you, Yoler. Can you explain all, or most, what we will be able to do with the AI agent of the mask? And I guess that assume aside from dungeon battles outlay.
Yeah, totally. So we see like this agent as a way for any player who wants to have an assistant in the game. And like, right now we are just experimenting with some mechanics. We're working quite closely with the they're building thing called Mage. So it's going to be a launchpad for game agents. And this is obviously one of the things which will help us to make agents relatively much faster than if we would like prep them from scratch. But getting back to the original question, so the mask agent will act as your assistant, and it will allow you to automate certain actions, and it will allow you to get like a certain task. So what we see as a possibility is you can ask it to perform a certain action, so you can, let's say, AFK a bit. It's also will be really smart autoplay action. Where it really matters is in situations where you're offline and somebody else is attacking you. For instance, like a heist. Yeah. So for the player, having go agent map will allow you to automate certain game activities. On the other hand, we want to see how we can use them basically to empower the creators on social space. So essentially, we're thinking of allowing these agents to generally ship posts on X create some content, at some point even stream the gameplay. So think of this: you go to something else. Your like agent stays and plays the game a bit for you, but at the same time also streams and engages with the audience. So lots of agentic stuff is really about experimenting and seeing the like nice fit and need. But yeah, it's all about like automating certain features and empowering like our users. So yeah.
Just top it off from global health, does quantity of mass have any impact on the agent or the quality of it?
I don't think so, but that for sure uh, opens up like a need for people to maybe borrow the math. So I think with that we'll have a demand for mask lending market, and that means if you hold better masks or whatever, you'll be able to lend some of these masks like permissionless. So if you own multiple and there are some users who want to use this functionality but cannot afford the mask, they will be able to pay like small fees for the mask owners, and we'll just like uh, take a loan and use it for a while, give it back.
All right. So if you guys have any more questions regarding the AI agent, drop them in. There's another question from Barbie. There, any hints on when the migration to credit chain will happen and only using one wallet? Can you talk more about that?
Okay, yeah. So regarding the treasure chain, there are few key systems which will be like migrated first. One of them will be the game exchange, so GEX. Besides this, one of the first things will run on Magic Chain will be the community tokens and like land market. So people will be able to deploy lands on the Magic Chain, and that means the community tokens will also be deployed on the Magic Chain. And from that point, we have like a plan where we gradually move every in-game system which people like interact through the game interface, Magic Chain. I mean, once we move the first system there, it's pretty straightforward for us to move everything else, and I think that will also help to make it make the user experience much easier and smoother, because from that point we'll try to like I think we'll support like outside wallets, so you will still be able to connect your wallet to your account, but generally we lean towards the direction where it's just one wallet, you connect it, and it's seamless, it just works, and that's it. So yeah, yeah, the masks and lands won't move to Magic Chain nor any other chain, but the way it works is like lands are on like Ethereum L1, but when you want to mint the token and generally like launch the land, you will be able to choose on which chain do you want to do that. Either it's Arbitrum, Magic Chain. Like I've seen many have heard Ronin went permissionless, so Ronin will be part of choice, and there is like a plenty of other chains which will be supported as well. But land itself, it stays in Ethereum, and functionality, what comes with the land, however, will be decided by the owner. So yeah. Cool. Yeah. What else we have here? Let me check the questions. Okay, Jackal turned off the laptop. Okay, that's why I'm alone. Yeah. So a few other questions I see. I see is about TGE. We're still putting that together. Like I said, we aim to kickstart play to airdrop campaign along with all other pre-TGE activities right after the beta. One thing what we are going to do with the beta though is I've heard so many times people saying we should get early access. They want to test features before they hit like public. I think this will be the perfect time when we will move into the beta. At the beginning, we want to have some sort of control who can play, who yeah, because we need to collect some data. We need to see if there are any issues before we endorse to the public. So first of all, the beta will be accessible for some time to only mass holders and land holders. And from that point, we will kickstart the play to airdrop campaign, which will lead us into the TGE. So yeah, how many concurrent players can the game accommodate? So the way we are structuring it right now is ideally we want to support a limited amount of players, but the way how structure for the servers will be set is that there will be like a list of dedicated servers, and each server has its own maximum capacity. So let's assume it's like 500 or 1,000 per server, and you will be able to choose the world in which like world/server in which you want to log in and play, and this will help us to make game more accessible in certain regions. So let's say we'll have some Asia-based servers which will offer better like a ping for Asian players. We'll have like a server in Europe, server in America, and so on. So yeah, and with this design, we can scale on demand. So every time we start to hit start to hit the ceiling, we'll be able to just add more and more servers. So I think by the time we have finished, there shouldn't be like theoretical limit of how many players we can have at any given time. Yeah.
Will players be able to switch between these servers? For example, I want to spend some time with my uh, my shamans from America, for example. Have an event there.
Oh, yeah.
Will I be able to hop there?
Yeah, totally. It's going to be completely up to you which server you want to enter, because with the current setup, I mean, right now when we don't like boost thousands of concurrents, it's somewhat okay. But when you want to play together with your friends, I just can't see any other way than giving you ability to select which server you want to play in. Otherwise, it's like, yo, let's meet by this tree, and you all go by this tree, and you don't see each other because you end up being in like different instances, and the only way to like fix this is just by making dedicated instances where people can choose to go and play with the people who are at that point in the instance. It will also become quite interesting because I think when people will be farming or like grinding certain resources, it's going to become uh, trying to find like empty servers where you can face a little bit of less competition. But yeah, I mean,
That and no, actually, that's the reason I asked about the servers. That was no reason. Because you know, we have like people are we need more trees and we need more fishing spots and yeah, and I think also the depth of being able to up. I think that's all I got. All of it. Yeah, gameplay and the cheaper.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Um, oh, so one question about PvP lands. So I'll tell you guys like this. I'm trying to so we fix tournaments. We fix them properly and everything works on our stage environment. When we pose them live, we encounter issues, connectivity issues that literally never appear on our end. So I mentioned this during the keynote that we need to create this, like augment week, for example, where we have our leaders actually like working on these tournaments as we break. And, you'll be incentivized to do so with some, rewards for participation, and we would fix them together, and then we can return to a more like consistent schedule of like various tournaments as we did last year. But you with like current amount of development we're doing, it's really hard for me to find a time where everybody would be able to do it. But I'm just so I'm actively pushing for it because I also miss tournaments a lot, and it is not forgotten, and working on it to have them up and running as fast as we can. Real time day and night plan for beta. Real time for who? Like UTC, and yeah, that's tricky one. I kind of like my personal look at it is that Zverse is like in this timeless place, and yeah, Euler.
I mean, we've had like a few discussions about like day and night cycles. Like I think it could make sense to a certain degree when we could like combine it with like certain activities. I mean, there could be like a fish which you can only catch at night, and there could be like a certain thing which you can do in like a certain hours. As far as I love the idea, I don't think we will see this anytime soon because it for sure it just complicates a lot of stuff. But that doesn't mean it won't come someday. I mean, we first need to get basic things to work flawlessly. But one thing what we could see hitting Zevers much sooner is weather and daytime setups for the private lands, because whenever you will be like organizing an event or willing to like set a specific mode in your land, we want to give you these tools, and because it's more like isolated sandbox, it doesn't have as much impact on everything else. So yeah, we'll give you these tools at some point, and you will be able to do these things on your own land. And I guess from there we'll be able to also see how if people are really enjoying this and if we should consider it adding to the main game.
Very cool. So if we I think we can maybe start looking at wrapping it up. 80 minutes is already quite long and kind of matches all our previous community calls. People have been incredibly active with questions today, and that makes me so excited for the future community calls. Guys, you've been working overtime today. I love it.
Yeah, I think mask as a reward could help a bit. Could have helped a bit for participation.
What? No, I know nobody came here for the mask. They came here to hear us only because of him.
Okay, yeah, I think that's how Web3 works. I mean, guys, nevertheless, it's super nice to see so many of you here. We'll think for the next community calls as well. Maybe do some drops, some gifts. I think if we do one of these events every single week, we can afford to do like one nice prize. I mean, and okay, everybody came for Jackal. Nobody came for a mask.
See, I told you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. For the next community call, one lucky winner will get 30 minutes with a Jackal 1-to-1. Yeah, you can choose.
Hey yo. Hey yo.
All right.
Okay.
That's a good way to end the thing. Thank you guys for coming. It was absolute. It was a blast. Yeah. Let's end this before it gets really weird.